This is my third week on retention, and I am a 20-year-old virgin doing retention. I have really struggled with lust in terms of me coping by me watching the sites. Uh, Watch this quick. Oh, that's cool. You see if you can see that. Hello. Yeah. That's, that is absolutely beautiful right there. And yeah, those are the small things that you yeah, those are the small things that you get to go ahead and enjoy on retention as the birds going by like that in a flock. But I really struggle with less in terms of the sites. And I have been someone who's really struggled with social anxiety when it comes to talking to girls. I have been really scared of trying to go ahead and talk to girls. I have had multiple opportunities to go ahead and get with girls, to go ahead and have a relationship with a girl, to go ahead and smash with a girl. I have had multiple opportunities to go ahead and do that, but the thing that I just ended up doing, since I really struggled with my social anxiety, I remember when I first started off uh, being off to pictures, the first thing I'll do was I remember girl I liked in my sophomore year, um, and I was so afraid to talk to her in my biology class, but I could tell that we kind of had something. Maybe we had a little something going on there. I just had to go ahead and talk, and I just got done watching a video, and the girl, it's it's the girl's job to go ahead and reject you, and it's not your job to go ahead and reject yourself from talking to that girl. If you're rejecting yourself from talking to that girl, that is not your job. Your job is to go ahead and talk to that girl. But that's also a thing, being a virgin on retention. You have to go ahead and put yourself to go ahead and talk to girls. And the thing with being a virgin on retention is that you're no longer coping through watching the sites. You're no longer coping that you can't go ahead and talk to girls. And since you're no longer coping through that way, you have to go and put yourself in opportunities to go ahead and talk to girls. But that is not the huge concept of being on retention in general. You shouldn't be hopping on retention for moment attraction. I have been trying to do that for years, and I have gotten nowhere on my journey. And I have really started to get results on retention when I stopped giving a fuck about women. Not in terms of that, and that's something that's also really bad on this path, being a virgin and also doing retention, is that you tend to go ahead and start hating on girls, that you don't like girls at the end of the day. Like, you don't want to go ahead and talk to girls, you go ahead and avoid talking to girls. That is not the point. We're not here to go ahead and hate on girls. We're not here to go ahead and go down the incel path. We're here to go ahead and build. And if you're a virgin on retention, that's your job to go ahead and build. You put yourself in positions to go ahead and talk to girls. And when you even think about being a virgin in general, you shouldn't even be releasing to external sources like that. You shouldn't be even watching the sites in the first place. Think about being a virgin back in the 1950s. In just even in the past, you weren't even watching the sites. You weren't releasing. You had to go ahead and actually use that energy to go ahead and put that out into something, and that is something that you have to go ahead and do. And if you're still worrying about being a virgin and you're doing retention for you not to be put in that state, then you're probably not gonna end up even lasting long on this journey, because that's all you're worried about. And I started to really last long on this journey. I have not been in 3 weeks in over 2 years. And the reason I'm lasting so long is because I'm not doing it for woman attraction. I'm doing it to master myself. I'm doing it to be the best version that I can. I'm doing it to master my urges. I'm doing it to no longer cope. I'm doing it so I could go ahead and tackle these problems, so I could go ahead and stop being afraid of talking to girls and actually talk to girls. That is the point of me talking to being actually confident, and me, kind of stuttering here a little bit, but I also come back to this point as well, is that there could be, I've known plenty of guys who could still go ahead and watch the sites, could still go ahead and release it daily, and still go ahead and get woman attraction, could still go ahead and get a woman. You don't have to be on retention to go ahead and get women. You don't. And if you think that retention is make or break for you to go ahead and get a girl, that you doing nofap is make or break for you to go ahead and get a girl, the overall thing that you should not be doing is watching the sites in general. But overall, you don't need to be on retention to go ahead and get a girl. You don't need to be on retention to go ahead and talk to a girl. You don't. There's not that many people do retention. It's very difficult to go ahead and do. At least if you think it's difficult, it could go ahead and be difficult for you to go ahead and do. But not that many people are doing retention in the first place. That's just not how the world works. And there's tons of people who watch the sites. There's tons of people who are released constantly who's able to go ahead and get girls. And that's just how it works. You don't need to be on retention to go ahead and get girls. You don't need to be on nofap to go ahead and get girls. But if you know that the sites are ruining your confidence, okay, that's stopping you from going ahead and getting girls. If you know that you're releasing because, yeah, you can't talk to girls and that's your way to go ahead and cope, maybe that is the reason why you can't talk to girls. If you're using the sites, if you're beating off to go ahead and cope from you not being able to go ahead and talk to girls, that is your problem there. If you're just being off on the sites just because you want to go ahead and have pleasure for yourself, that you're not doing it to go ahead and cope because you can't talk to girls, you're not coping because you're really introverted, and when it comes to talking to girls, you're really dealing with social anxiety when it comes to talking to girls, then it's okay. And that's something that you really don't hear on here, is that you don't need to be on retention. You don't need to be on nofap to go ahead and get a girl, bro. You don't. There's tons of guys who are not doing that and still get the girls that you want. But if you're coping, then you're not going to go ahead and get the girls that you want. But if you're a virgin in the first place, you should not be watching the sites. That is something that we should not be doing at all. And you should not be doing retention for woman attraction, because you're not going to end up getting the actual benefits that you actually need to get from it. You should be putting this energy towards going to the gym. You should be putting this energy into a business, into a craft, into you building something, into you recording, into you producing something. You need to put that energy out into something. And that is the huge point of retention, is for you to master yourself, have a sense of self-mastery. There's a sense, I always remember this comment from I was in a Demon Slayer OST. I was listening to a Demon Slayer OST, and one of the things that it said was, and it was the fire Hashira, the sun breathing Hashira, and there was a comment in there. I can't find it, but it says once you start to go ahead and master yourself, you start to go ahead and actually be able to go ahead and impact other people. then once you're able to go ahead and master yourself, you're able to go ahead and really control your life. If you're able to go ahead and control your dopamine, if you're not watching the sites, if you're not doom scrolling on social media, I know there's so many things that we're so addicted to that is ruining our potential. And those things are really ruining your potential. I have been doing so much more work since that I'm not going down that instant dopamine path. I did yard work today. I edited a video today. I did schoolwork early in the morning, and I felt great about myself. I feel great about doing work. I feel great about not releasing. I feel great about not selling my soul to some girl who does not really give a fuck about me. I feel amazing about doing that. I feel amazing not giving in to these urges because knowing that I'm just going to be releasing for no reason. You don't want to be a virgin and trying to go ahead and just start hooking up with girls on online dating apps. You don't want to be doing retention for those reasons of trying to go ahead and just hook up. That is not the point. And if you were doing that in the first place, you're most likely on NoFap in the first place. I'm mostly on NoFap. If I let me be honest about my clear intentions too. If I get with a girl that I really deem that I really like, and I'm not the person to go ahead and smash on the first date. If you're if your goal if you're still in that mindset of you're a virgin and you want to go ahead and just clap as many girls as possible, if you're trying to go ahead and build a sense of self-respect for yourself, if you think that you clapping this amount of girls is going to make you feel like a man, no, it's not, bro. We're not doing it for those reasons. But if I get in a position where, yeah, I talk to a girl, I really like her, I take her on a couple of dates, man, okay, I'll be okay with that. I'll be 100% okay with that. I'm just really glad me doing retention as a virgin that I'm not releasing to the sites, that I'm not releasing mindlessly no more. I am glad I'm in that position now. And I'm glad in the position where I'm not worrying about what a girl thinks. I'm not feeling desperate to go ahead and get some kitty. I am no longer trying to go ahead and get to know a girl, pretend to be all interested in her just to go ahead and just slide into her kitty. I'm no longer thinking like that. I'm no longer in the position of being desperate to go ahead and get some kitty. And and that is such a unique point too, is that once you put that once you start to put that feeling of being desperate out into the world, once you start putting that feeling of being scarcity out into the world, things become much more harder to go ahead and achieve. If you're feeling like you're scarce when it comes to going and getting some kitty, you feel like that is something that is just rare, and that you really, really need it, that it's a high demand for you, then it's gonna be hard for you to go ahead and get. It's gonna be hard for you to go ahead and get some kitty. It is. And once you stop really caring about it, it's just gonna start coming to you naturally. And it's just a simplistic law of the universe. Once you just stop really caring about things, and once you start really caring about the things that you're trying to go ahead and do, I like to think about this concept in basketball. For example, you've been working on the drill, you've been working on the move, and you say to yourself, you've been just really drilling yourself this in your mind, like you have to go ahead and do this move in the game, and you just don't end up doing it. You just end up going back to your old play style. For me, for example, just to go ahead and shoot open threes, to go ahead and shoot threes. That was my comfortability, and I put a huge importance on me to go ahead and get outside that comfortability, to go ahead and get into my dribble bag, but I did not end up doing it. I ended up falling back into my comfortable state. And since I put a huge desperate since I was so desperate in that situation, I did not end up accomplishing the things that I should end up accomplishing. If you're putting that sense of scarcity, that sense of you're doing it, you're a virgin and you're on retention, you're trying to do retention, you're trying to go ahead and get some kitty out of the scarcity, it's not gonna end up working well. I have been on this journey for about 2 years now. 2 years. I have not been on the streak for 2 years. This has been my longest streak, 3 weeks in almost in almost 5 years. I have only been on a 1 month long streak. I have always been someone who was addicted to that. But I've always been someone who's coped. I've always been that person. I've always been that person. But through this 2 year long journey, that's me graduating high school and stuff like that. This is what I have learned, and I've also learned to not put retention as a huge importance in my life. If you think of retention being a huge point of your life, being your everything of your life, being your source of confidence to go ahead and talk to girls, then bro, it's gonna end up being your downfall. Again, you don't need to be on retention or notepad to go ahead and get a girl. You don't. There's tons of dudes who are able to go ahead and get a girl. They just have better confidence in those situations. Some have it more easier, some don't have it as easy. And for example, I'm one of those people who just don't have it that easy. On this street, I don't like to call this stuff straight too. And the thing about retention as well, you don't want to be saying that you're a guy on retention, bro. You don't want to be saying that, because if you are, you're taking away the point of it. But on this journey, I have accumulated the most hours I ever talked to a girl in terms of dating wise, in terms of trying to get a know a girl, in terms of I never cold approach and asked for a girl's number yet, but this has been the most time I have accumulated. Almost 3 hours of talking to girls, talking to two girls in general. I was talking to one on the phone, got her number off a dating app. That's the most hours I have ever accumulated, and I am not desperate about it. I'm not desperate about trying to go ahead and get with this girl and try to go ahead and lose my V card as quick as possible for me to go ahead and release, for me to go ahead and slide into her pants, to try to go her get out, try to get her out in a date, to go ahead and just smash. I'm not at that point no more. I'm also kind of lucky too. I know I don't know, like to say I'm lucky, but I can't bring a girl over to my house. Like it's a 2 bedroom house, and 3 people in 1 bedroom. Two of my brothers, and me myself. I can't smash a girl at my crib. I don't have a car. Yeah. I take this train right here that's about to go by. That's my this thing right here about to go by is my way for getting around the city, because I get it for free. Yeah, I don't have that many opportunities to go ahead and smash a girl, and I'm kind of lucky that I'm not going down the path. I'm lucky that I'm going down the path of realizing that this is the best way for me just to overallly to connect with God. And I have not been doing the best in terms of that, of trying to go ahead and just read more spiritual literature, but I have been improving drastically though in terms of that, and it has been really great just to go and just fucking yap on the camera real quick, man, and just go ahead and yap about this being a virgin on retention. Of course, I'm gonna make more videos about this when my understanding of this becoming way much more deeper. But yeah, this is me 20 minutes just yapping about a camera, feeling confident as fuck, bro. I know I don't like to cuss on here because I'm right next to my house. I don't like to cuss underneath my mom's roof, but I'm feeling confident as fuck, man. As fuck. And you should too, man. And once you start to really master yourself, you start to do the things that you should be doing. I'm working towards my business. I'm working towards the things, my schoolwork. I'm putting all more time towards that. I'm dominating that shit. And that is making me confident as fuck. And I'm not being desperate about stuff. I got this girl off a dating app. I'm not really tripping, to be honest. Even though I do feel some emotional attachments a little bit. Those weird clinging attachments I had from previous girls before. It's not as bad. I'm not as desperate. I'm cool. If it ends up working out, I take this girl on a date, cool. If it doesn't, cool. I'm not putting a huge. I'm not being super desperate about it no more. Because if I'm super desperate about it, it's just not gonna end up panning well. I've been desperate about multiple things, basketball, girls. The shit never worked out. It never worked out. It never ended up going the way that I wanted it to. And since I'm subconsciously just not being desperate no more, things are just becoming more easier. And yeah, man. Peace.